My beloved child, stop scrolling for just a moment. Do not let your eyes move away, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary. Something brought you here at this exact moment, and before this message reaches its final sentence, you will understand why. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. This is a fictional inspirational story told in the style of a heavenly message, but if your heart is searching for wisdom, listen carefully. Every moment matters. There are moments in life when danger does not arrive wearing darkness. It comes smiling. It comes with familiar words. It comes with comforting promises. That is why so many people never recognize it until the lesson has already been learned. Today, the story is about such a moment. It is about a path that looked peaceful while quietly leading toward heartbreak. And it is about how God, in His perfect wisdom, placed signs along that road long before anyone could see the truth. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, there is someone whose influence has been growing around your story. Not because that person is stronger than you, but because you have been too busy looking at appearances instead of direction. This message is not meant to fill your heart with fear. It is meant to replace confusion with clarity. The greatest protection often arrives as quiet wisdom instead of loud miracles. Imagine walking through a beautiful forest. The sunlight touches every leaf. The wind feels gentle. Birds sing without interruption. Everything appears perfect. Yet beneath the grass, there is a hidden path leading toward a cliff. Would love allow someone to keep walking without a warning? Of course not. True love speaks before disaster arrives. That is exactly how this story begins. There once was a person who believed every kind smile meant a kind heart. They believed every compliment carried honest intentions. They believed every helping hand came without hidden expectations. Day after day they welcomed everyone with trust because they wanted to see the best in people. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Conversations felt pleasant. Encounters felt natural. Everything looked harmless. Yet there was one man who always appeared at the perfect time. Whenever hope began to grow, he appeared. Whenever confidence returned, he appeared. Whenever peace entered the room, somehow he appeared again. No one questioned it. No one noticed the pattern. Only heaven could see what ordinary eyes could not. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The strange part was not his words. The strange part was what happened after every conversation. Dreams became smaller. Confidence became weaker. Peace disappeared without explanation. The person could never understand why every step forward somehow became 2 steps backward. They blamed themselves. They blamed circumstances. They blamed bad luck. But the real answer remained hidden beneath ordinary moments. My beloved child, life often teaches that not everyone who enters your journey has been sent to remain in it forever. Some people become beautiful chapters. Others become important lessons. Wisdom is learning the difference before the story writes itself. As days passed, small signs began appearing. Plans suddenly changed. Doors unexpectedly closed. Meetings were cancelled. Messages arrived late. Simple opportunities quietly disappeared. To human understanding, these looked like disappointments. To heaven, they were protection. Because sometimes the closed door is not punishment. Sometimes it is rescue. The person in this story became frustrated. Why is everything falling apart? Why does every opportunity disappear? Why does nothing work anymore? The questions echoed through quiet nights. But unseen above every unanswered prayer was a gentle answer already unfolding. Because while the person believed opportunities were being taken away, God was removing hidden traps. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Weeks continued to pass. The mysterious man remained close. Always encouraging. Always smiling. Always saying exactly what someone wanted to hear. Yet every decision influenced by him somehow ended with disappointment. Not immediately. Never immediately. That is what made the pattern difficult to recognize. A wrong direction rarely announces itself at the beginning. It waits until enough distance has been traveled. Then suddenly the traveler realizes they are nowhere near the destination they once dreamed about. My beloved child, this story is not asking you to become suspicious of everyone. It is inviting you to become wise. Discernment is not fear. Discernment is the quiet ability to notice whether someone's presence consistently leads toward peace, honesty, kindness, and growth, or away from them. One evening, everything changed. The person sat alone watching the sunset. For the first time in months there was complete silence. No advice. No interruptions. No opinions. Only stillness. And inside that stillness came a simple question. What changes after every conversation with him? The question felt ordinary. Yet it opened a door no one expected. Memories returned one after another. Small conversations. Tiny choices. Forgotten moments. Little compromises. Each one seemed harmless by itself. Together they formed a pattern impossible to ignore. The person realized something remarkable. Every important dream had become smaller after seeking approval from the same voice. Every courageous step had been delayed. Every joyful decision had been questioned. Every confident moment had been replaced by unnecessary doubt. It was never obvious. It happened slowly. Like a shadow growing longer as the evening approaches. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, sometimes the greatest miracle is not discovering who belongs in your future. Sometimes the greatest miracle is recognizing who does not. The story grew even more surprising. That night the person found an old notebook filled with forgotten goals. Pages written years earlier. Dreams filled with hope. Plans inspired by kindness. Promises made during brighter seasons. Reading those pages felt like meeting an older version of themselves. Someone who believed anything was possible. Someone who trusted God's timing. Someone who refused to settle for less than purpose. Tears filled their eyes. Not because those dreams had disappeared, but because they realized how quietly they had stopped believing in them. No dramatic event had stolen their confidence. Only repeated moments of discouragement. Small drops eventually fill an ocean. Small doubts eventually reshape a life. That realization became the beginning of freedom. My beloved child, there are voices that awaken purpose. There are voices that awaken fear. The difference is often invisible until time reveals the fruit. Ask yourself, which conversations leave your heart lighter? Which conversations inspire wisdom? Which conversations strengthen compassion? Which conversations quietly drain your courage? Answers rarely arrive through noise. They arrive through honest reflection. The following morning another unexpected event occurred. The mysterious man invited the person into yet another conversation. Everything appeared normal. The smile remained. The tone remained friendly. The words sounded encouraging. Yet something inside felt different. Because once truth begins opening your eyes, familiar situations no longer appear the same. The person listened carefully. Instead of reacting immediately, they observed patiently. For the first time they noticed something they had missed countless times before. Every compliment contained hidden comparison. Every suggestion quietly discouraged independence. Every opinion gently redirected attention away from purpose. Nothing sounded cruel. Everything sounded reasonable. That was exactly why it had remained unnoticed. My beloved child, wisdom often whispers while deception prefers comfort. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The person walked away peacefully. No argument. No anger. No dramatic confrontation. Just quiet understanding. Sometimes the strongest decision is made without raising your voice. Because peace does not always need to defend itself. It simply chooses another direction. That evening the sunset looked brighter. The air felt lighter. Nothing outside had changed. Yet everything inside had begun changing. Hope returned. Not all at once. But one gentle step at a time. The story was only beginning. Because the greatest revelation had not yet arrived. The person still did not know why heaven had protected them. They had only discovered that protection had been happening all along. The answer to that mystery would arrive later. And when it did, every delayed opportunity, every closed door, every unexpected interruption, and every unanswered question would suddenly make perfect sense. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The silence that followed was unlike anything the person had ever experienced. It was not an empty silence. It was the kind of silence that allows hidden truths to rise to the surface. For the first time in a very long while, there was no constant voice influencing every decision. There was no subtle pressure. There was no invisible weight resting upon the heart. There was only peace. Yet heaven was not finished revealing the story. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, many people believe that protection always feels dramatic. They imagine lightning from the sky or impossible miracles that everyone can see. But some of God's greatest acts of protection happen so quietly that only later do people recognize what really happened. Sometimes the miracle is a delayed answer. Sometimes it is a canceled meeting. Sometimes it is a path that suddenly disappears before your feet. What once looked like disappointment later becomes undeniable evidence of divine wisdom. Several days passed, and life became strangely calm. The mysterious man continued reaching out from time to time, speaking with the same familiar confidence. Nothing about his words had changed. But everything about the listener had changed. Instead of accepting every suggestion, they paused. Instead of reacting immediately, they reflected. Instead of following every direction, they prayed for wisdom. That single change transformed everything. Then something unexpected happened. An opportunity appeared that seemed almost identical to one that had failed months earlier. The location was different. The people were different. Yet the purpose felt familiar. Before, the mysterious man had convinced the person to walk away from it. This time, there was no voice pushing them in another direction. There was only quiet discernment. As the person stepped forward with renewed confidence, one door opened after another. Kind people appeared. Honest conversations replaced confusing ones. Encouragement replaced constant uncertainty. Progress returned naturally, without manipulation or pressure. It felt as though life itself had begun breathing again. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, every healthy relationship, whether friendship, mentorship, family, or partnership, should help you grow in wisdom, peace, kindness, and integrity. When someone consistently pulls you away from those things, the answer is not fear. The answer is careful discernment. God does not call His children to live in suspicion, but He does call them to live with wisdom. One evening, while organizing old papers, the person discovered something that made them stop completely. It was a forgotten calendar from the previous year. Curious, they began comparing important dates. The day they abandoned a meaningful goal. The day they canceled an important meeting. The day they lost confidence in a lifelong dream. The day they turned away from a valuable opportunity. Again and again, one detail quietly appeared beside each date. Every one of those moments happened shortly after spending time with the same man. The realization was overwhelming. Not because the man possessed extraordinary power, but because repeated influence, when unnoticed, can quietly shape the direction of an entire season of life. The person sat in complete silence. There was no anger. No desire for revenge. Only gratitude. Gratitude that the pattern had finally become visible before even greater opportunities arrived. My beloved child, not every lesson is meant to create bitterness. Some lessons are given so that wisdom becomes stronger than disappointment. When truth is revealed, let it become light for your future rather than weight upon your past. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. That night, a peaceful thought entered the person's heart. What if every delay was actually preparing me for something better? The question changed everything. Instead of mourning lost opportunities, they began appreciating hidden protection. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" they began asking, "What was I being protected from?" Suddenly, old memories looked completely different. The unanswered calls. The unexpected cancellations. The closed doors. The postponed plans. None of them appeared meaningless anymore. Each one looked like a quiet hand gently guiding someone away from a future they could not yet see. The following morning brought another surprise. The mysterious man tried once more to persuade the person to abandon the new opportunity that had finally begun flourishing. His words sounded polished. His advice sounded practical. His confidence sounded convincing. But something important had changed. The person no longer listened only with their ears. They listened with wisdom. And wisdom noticed what emotion had ignored for far too long. The conversation ended peacefully. No argument. No accusation. Just a respectful decision to continue walking the path that brought peace instead of confusion. As the person walked away, a remarkable feeling settled into their heart. Freedom. Not the freedom that comes from proving someone wrong, but the freedom that comes from finally recognizing the right direction. My beloved child, if a voice repeatedly leaves you discouraged, uncertain, and disconnected from hope, pause before allowing it to shape your future. Seek wisdom. Seek peace. Seek truth. God often speaks through clarity, patience, compassion, and steady guidance rather than confusion or constant pressure. The greatest revelation, however, had still not arrived. Very soon, the person would discover a hidden connection between the mysterious man and an event from long ago. An event almost everyone had forgotten. When that forgotten piece finally came to light, every unanswered question would suddenly fit together like the final piece of a puzzle. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. A quiet feeling settled over everything, but this piece was different. It was not the peace that comes after all questions are answered. It was the peace that comes just before the greatest truth is revealed. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, there are moments when heaven allows the final piece of the puzzle to appear only after your heart has become strong enough to receive it. Had this revelation arrived earlier, it might have produced fear. But now, it would produce wisdom. Several days later, the person unexpectedly met someone they had not seen in years. The conversation began with ordinary memories, shared laughter, and stories from the past. Then, without planning it, the other person mentioned a name. It was the same man. For a brief moment, everything became still. The person did not interrupt. They simply listened. The old friend quietly explained that years earlier, Many people had started exciting journeys after meeting that man, but almost every one of them had experienced the same pattern. Dreams slowly faded. Confidence disappeared. Opportunities were delayed. Relationships became strained. No dramatic betrayal had ever taken place. Instead, it happened little by little, through constant discouragement, subtle comparisons, and endless doubt. Suddenly, every unanswered question found its place. The delays. The confusion. The closed doors. The sleepless nights. The constant uncertainty. They were no longer random events. The greatest miracle was not discovering something terrible about another person. The greatest miracle was discovering how faithfully God had been protecting the path all along. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, notice something important. This story is not about judging one individual. It is about recognizing influence. Sometimes the greatest danger is not an enemy standing against you. Sometimes it is simply allowing the wrong voice to guide your next decision. That realization transformed everything. Instead of asking, "Why did God allow those difficult seasons?" the person finally asked, "How many unseen dangers did God quietly keep me from?" That question changed their heart forever. For the first time, they thanked God for unanswered prayers. They thanked Him for delayed opportunities. They thanked Him for closed doors. They thanked Him for every interruption that once felt disappointing. Because now they understood. Protection often arrives wearing the disguise of inconvenience. The following morning, something remarkable happened. The opportunity that had once seemed impossible suddenly became available again. The conversation that had once ended unexpectedly reopened. The people who truly belonged in the journey returned naturally. No manipulation. No pressure. No confusion. Everything moved forward with surprising peace. The person smiled. Not because life had become perfect, but because they finally understood the difference between a path filled with anxiety and a path filled with quiet confidence. My beloved child, always remember this truth. The right people do not need to shrink your dreams to feel important. The right people do not leave you constantly questioning your worth. The right people inspire honesty, wisdom, humility, kindness, and hope. They help you become stronger, not smaller. And when God gently removes someone from your journey, do not rush to reopen the door He has peacefully closed. There was one final surprise. Months later, the person looked back at the exact day they thought everything had fallen apart. It had felt like their worst day. Now they saw it differently. If that one conversation had gone another way. If that one opportunity had succeeded too early. If that one influence had remained unnoticed. Their entire future would have taken a different direction. At last, tears filled their eyes. Not tears of regret. Tears of gratitude. Because they realized they had never been abandoned. Even in seasons of silence. God had been quietly arranging protection they could not yet understand. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. And here is the final truth of this story. The title promised that a name would shock you. But the greatest surprise was never another person's name. The name heaven wanted you to remember was your own. Because this message was never meant to make you afraid of someone else. It was meant to remind you that your life has value, your purpose matters, and you are worth protecting. Whenever you face confusing voices, difficult choices, or uncertain paths, ask not, "Who should I fear?" Instead ask, "Which direction fills my heart with genuine peace, wisdom, integrity, and hope?" That question will guide you farther than fear ever could. My beloved child, walk forward with courage. Leave behind every voice that consistently steals your peace. Hold tightly to truth. Choose wisdom over impulse. Choose discernment over appearances. Choose hope over confusion. Because the one who has been guiding your steps from the very beginning is still walking ahead of you, preparing tomorrow long before you arrive. And one day, when you look back over every closed door, every delay, every unanswered question, and every unexpected change, you will finally whisper with complete certainty, "I understand now. I was being protected all along."